Welcome back, everyone, to another explainer for Kalanima Echoes of the Divine. Today, we are unpacking the absolute highlights from Session 8, Shadows of Wistful Way In. We're setting the stage for a deep dive into an incredibly eerie investigation of this seemingly quiet inn. And oh man, we finally get to welcome John's brand new character to the table. It's packed with tension, crazy teamwork, and some truly terrifying secrets hidden right under the floorboards. Let's get into it. Okay, let's dive into this because the session kicks off with immediate bad vibes right at the breakfast table. The party is swapping the unsettling messages they heard in the night. Heron got a ghostly, "Why did you do it?" while Orion heard whispers asking, "Where is she?" But Jace's dream, that's the one with the chilling, retroactive weight. Remember, the party literally followed lanterns to reach the Wistful Way in the night before. Hearing about the deadly light of the lantern the next morning, yeah, that casts a terrifying new shadow over their whole arrival. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, eerie morning and new allies. Then, secrets in the garden. Third, Daisy's hidden trapdoor. Fourth, combat in the cellar. And finally, loot and lingering questions. We're going to structure this whole thing around the concept of the descent. Basically, we'll move from the surface-level oddities straight down into the literal and metaphorical abyss of the inn. Starting off with Section 1, Eerie Morning and New Allies. Breakfast, whispers, and a missing person. While everyone's chewing on those ghostly voices, the youngest daughter, Rose, is serving up toast and bacon. But the vibe is heavy. When asked how she slept, Rose just sadly admits she dreams of her parents' deaths. It's this brief, super tragic moment that sets a distinctly quiet, mournful tone for the rest of the morning.
Well, that quiet doesn't last long. Over at the front desk, things are getting highly suspicious. You've got this furious elvish woman, Jem Bell, arguing with Anne, the innkeeper. Jem is absolutely insisting her traveling buddy, Mikkel, would never have just signed the register and bailed without her, especially since he's a heavy drinker. Anne just calmly points to his signature in the book. Obviously, Jem is frustrated, and now our party is officially on high alert.
And walking right into the middle of this tense standoff is our newest party member. A huge, enthusiastic welcome to John for his first session. He plays Zometry Crobfield, and his introduction is basically perfectly summed up by this utterly devastating, plain statement of fact about kobolds. Let's look a bit closer at Zometry's integration here. He's a dwarf cleric of Shamariatar, which means, amazingly, the party now has 2 clerics of Shamariatar at the table. He overheard the whole argument about Mikkel right when he walked in, but what's really striking is how seamlessly he meshes with the group. He lays out his tragic backstory, losing his kids and grandkids to a kobold raid, directly, plainly, with zero theatrical drama. Shamariatar spoke directly to him. It's a heavy, grounded moment that Heron and Orion treat with total respect. Moving to Section 2, Secrets in the Garden, Cultivation and Corruption. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the crazy contrast we see. Daisy, the eldest daughter, offers a garden tour. She's genuinely charming, totally geeking out over crop rotation. But this pleasant agricultural tour is a stark contrast to the creeping horrors the rest of the party is about to uncover, literally right behind her back. The tension ramps up perfectly here. First, Oren quietly notices the pumpkin head of a scorched, year-old scarecrow just turn entirely on its own. No thank you. Then we get this amazing bit of physical comedy. Jace uses Zometry as a literal step stool to inspect one of the weirdly warm iron lanterns. While Heron brilliantly distracts Daisy with intense farming talk, Zometry runs a 10-minute detect magic. Turns out every single lantern is emitting necromantic energy. And as if that wasn't enough, Zometry unearths a cloth-wrapped body buried in the dirt for a year. Heron handles this disturbing discovery with such quiet, practiced gravity. She cuts the cloth, reveals a semi-pristine skull, and drops this line. It's a deeply emotional beat. She doesn't panic, she just quietly performs last rites over this unremembered body right there in the dirt, giving it some much-needed dignity. Which brings us to Section 3, Daisy's hidden trapdoor, beneath the surface. The party knows they need to get inside the house. Daisy suspiciously uses the front door, leaving the back unlocked. Jace, seizing the opportunity, slips right through that back door directly into Daisy's bedroom for a search. Inside, it's pretty sparse. A medical journal, a chest of clothes, and a stiletto dagger hidden under the bed. Now, Heron initially reasons that a dagger could just be for simple home defense. But then, Heron feels this strong spiritual pull toward the center of the room. Jace pulls back a rug and uses sleight of hand to unlock a hidden trapdoor. It opens and a wave of cool, musky air hits them. They look down and can just make out these dust-covered mounds in the dark. The party plays this really smart. They close the trap door, realizing they need to go down as a group, but they have to get Daisy out of the house first. So they suggest a lovely woodland walk. Daisy eagerly agrees and literally runs off to grab her journal. It gives the party the absolute perfect, unobstructed opening to make their descent. Hitting Section 4, Combat in the Cellar. Plunging into the abyss. And oh man, this is where things shift into high gear. As they climb down the ladder, the shadows shift. Those dust-covered mounds, they resolve into massive piles of bones and rotting corpses with wide-mouthed screams. The illusion drops. An eerie lantern glows, and skeletons literally rip themselves from the piles and attack. And this brilliantly illustrates the tactical prowess of this group. Oren's clutch precast mage armor pays off instantly. Zometry immediately steps up to tank, casting Shield of Faith, dodging, taunting, and turning undead. Jace is struggling a bit, repeatedly failing intelligence checks against the Lantern Lurker's ethereal illusions. But when Jace takes a bad hit, Zometry saves him with a 9 HP healing word. Then Heron does something so incredibly generous. She makes a medicine check to mid-combat bandage Jace, restoring his bonus action, all while she and Oren are actively taking damage. Finally, Heron whips out her spiritual weapon, the hunting horn of Thrutar, and uses Toll the Dead to secure the massive kill. Once the dust settles, Heron rolls religion to figure out what they just fought. A Lantern Lurker. This isn't just your everyday zombie. It's a spirit born from immense trauma, and they consume souls transitioning from life to death. They are the literal, traumatic residue of whatever horrific events occurred in the cellar, and they were being actively fed by those necromantic lanterns out in the garden. Finally, Section 5, Loot and Lingering Questions, the Aftermath. Everyone gets to decompress a bit here. They bag a well-deserved 212 XP each. Spell slots are looking pretty depleted. Heron's down to 3, Zametry's at 2. But they share this really warm post-combat banter, even bringing up Orion's cat, which is a hilarious contrast to standing in a literal mass grave. Looking at the loot, we've got healing potions, some merchant's clothing, and a very valuable bag of holding. Jace actually steps up here and volunteers to responsibly carry the bag of holding for the group. It's a really nice moment of cohesion and trust for the party. That the mechanical cleanup definitely takes a backseat to the massive mysteries they've uncovered. So, the crucial point is, what happened to Mikhail? Remember Jembill's missing companion from the front desk argument? Looking at what the party is currently standing in, you've got to wonder, is Mikhail's body now just part of the fresh corpse piles in this horrific cellar? And what about outside? Who buried that body in the garden? The corpse and the scorch marks on the scarecrow's clothing both date back to about a year ago. Did Anne do this? Was it Daisy? Or is there someone else entirely pulling the strings at the Wistful way in? Seriously, who rigged up those necromantic lanterns? The whole property is basically a giant machine designed to feed a creature born of violent trauma. And how does this all connect directly back to those 3 eerie voices they heard at breakfast? But the most immediate heart-pounding question they have to face right now is this. What on earth will the party say to Daisy? Because at this exact moment, Daisy is happily skipping back to the inn with her journal, completely blissfully unaware that her new friends just found a mass grave directly beneath her bedroom floor. How do you even begin that conversation? That massive cliffhanger is where we're leaving it for today's session highlights. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and we will catch you next time to see exactly how the party handles the shadows of the Wistful way in.